Welcome back to Inside Games Digest, the only show brave enough to pour one out for E3, because I think it's over for them. It feels like they're done.
We've almost worked our way through the 12-pack at this point, but it's time to pour another one out for E3. This one might be the last one. The former industry behemoth event has been canceled for 2023, and there's no strong indications that it's going to come back.
Yeah, the Entertainment Software Association, which runs E3, told its members this week that the event, which was scheduled for a big return this summer because they had lots of cancellations over COVID, quote, simply did not garner the sustained interest necessary to execute it in a way that would showcase the size, strength, and impact of our industry. Ouch, not sustained interest.
Yeah, that's just the flat bald floor with a ball pit all the way at the other end, E3. So I understand why they wouldn't want to throw that show. The email went on to say that E3, quote, remains a beloved event and brand, but they didn't mention it returning in the future.
After IGN broke the news, the ESA and producer Reed Popped released a statement that confirmed, yep, it is canceled.
Kyle Marsden-Kish, Reed Pop's global VP of gaming, said, "This was a difficult decision because of all the effort we and our partners put towards making this event happen, but we had to do what's right for the industry and what's right for E3.
He added, we appreciate and understand that interested companies wouldn't have playable demos ready and that resourcing challenges made being at E3 this summer an obstacle they couldn't overcome.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's some media that were actually involved with the participation of this event, and they just listed out the long list of reasons that companies didn't want to attend, and those are some of them. But yeah, it's that late text you get on a Friday when you were going to hang out with a friend of just like, sorry, I can't make it. Who knows if it's real or not, but yeah, Reed Pop was stuck holding that bag this time.
Ubisoft and Microsoft had a tough week, and they're like, sorry, E3, maybe next year.
Yeah, mental health day. So the past few years haven't been kind of E3 either. It was canceled last year. It was digital only in 2021, and like most things, was canceled in 2020 due to COVID-19.
E3 organizers were hoping for a big, in-person return this year, but most of the big players opted out. I mean, Sony has been out for a while, Nintendo's been out for even longer, but yeah, Microsoft also opted out, so that meant none of the three console makers were going to attend, and then Ubisoft also recently said it wouldn't either. That might have been the big nail in the coffin.
Yeah, once they started to flow, you just gotta kill it. It's a sad day for a former pillar of the gaming industry. From the consumer perspective, we can have our opinions, but there is something valuable about getting everyone in one physical space so they can meet and talk and share ideas. So I guess we gotta void until that gets filled.
Yeah, it's a bummer because I feel like everybody, kind of learned they can do their own live streams and their own events now, but there was something special about kind of bringing everybody together under one roof, or at least the LA Convention Center, so it'll be missed. Next up, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick had some harsh words for Sony about their opposition to his company's proposed merger with Microsoft.
As we've covered extensively on this channel, Microsoft is currently trying to win over regulators all over the world, cutting licensing agreements to share games with companies like Nintendo and Nvidia.
In an email sent to staff titled A March Update on the Microsoft Deal, Kotick praised Microsoft's, quote, thoughtful, generous remedies to address regulators' concerns.
Yeah, Kotick is a big fan of the proposed merger, mostly because they're going to buy all the shares at like 50% above market price, so I can see why he'd be a fan of it going through, but Kotick said that the merger will help us compete in the increasingly competitive marketplace that includes rapidly growing foreign, powerful companies that enjoy protection in their home markets and access to strong talent pools.
Yeah, that was a not-so-subtle reference to Chinese megacorps like Tencent and NetEase, which Microsoft definitely sees as big competitors.
Yeah, you need a megacorp to fight a megacorp, right? What's more mega than Microsoft, I guess? Speaking of megacorps, he also tore into Sony, saying that they've argued that if the merger goes through, Microsoft, quote, could release deliberately buggy versions of our games on PlayStation.
And Kotick took great umbrage at that. He denied it, saying that if they did that, players would hold Microsoft accountable. He added that, quote, all of us who work so hard to deliver the best games in our industry care too deeply about our players to ever launch subpar versions of our games.
They would never do that. No Activision game has ever launched in a subpar status, and you can tell. That's Kotick's guarantee.
Boom, every time.
Looking forward to Diablo 4. Anyway, he then accused Sony of being a big old baby about the thing, saying Sony's even admitted they aren't actually concerned about a Call of Duty agreement. They would just like to prevent our our merger from happening.
But Bobby said he's not mad at Sony, he's just disappointed. Like when you brought home a C in 5th grade math, then your mom was like, I know you're capable of more, Sony.
Yeah, except when dads say it, they are mad. They're just lying about it.
Yeah.
So he's fuming at his keyboard, which is great. Kotick wrote, "This is obviously disappointing behavior from a partner for almost 30 years, but we will not allow Sony's behavior to affect our long-term relationship."
Meanwhile, more regulators getting on board with the merger. Kotick said that the Japan Fair Trade Commission has signed off on the deal, and final decisions from regulators in the EU and UK are expected in the coming months.
And as one company may be about to get a lot bigger, another one's getting a little smaller. EA has just announced pretty massive layoffs.
Yeah, they said this week they're cutting hundreds of jobs and reducing office space.
I hate this shit, man. They don't need to. They're making money. It's not like tech companies that are actually losing cash. It's just the culture so they can get away with it, so they do it. Fuck it. Anyway, CEO Andrew Wilson said in a note to employees that as we drive greater focus across our portfolio, we are moving away from projects that do not contribute to our strategy, reviewing our real estate footprint and restructuring some of our teams.
The rabble will be fine. Yeah, they're cutting about 6% of their total workforce. That means about 800 employees. That is a lot.
But Wilson feels he still got, I'm sure he squeezed out one tear from his executive training anyway. Wilson wrote that layoffs are the most difficult part, and we are working through the process with the utmost care and respect.
This is the part of the job I hate, getting an underling to fire even more underlings. Yeah, despite the cuts, he said the company overall is operating from a position of strength and that their business is gaining momentum. Then why are you laying people off?
Because we can't. This is the hardest part, when I have to fire people just because I can. Anyway, Wilson wrote that this year's EA Sports FIFA 23 game is on pace to be the biggest in franchise history, and that Apex Legends' performance is strong after it recently celebrated its 4th anniversary. But they also just canceled an Apex game.
Guys, we're doing great. The games are doing great. Also, you're fired. EA started informing employees of the layoffs earlier this quarter. Wilson said that will continue into the early part of EA's new fiscal year. That starts on April 1st.
And like we said, these layoffs come as part of a larger trend in gaming and tech. I mean, it started in tech. It's starting to infect gaming, which sucks. Google, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, ByteDance, Unity, and tons of more companies have all been cutting staff recently.
From bad news to more bad news, The Last of Us PC port is terrible. Last of Us is a hot property again. There's the highly rated HBO show. Everybody likes it. It just wrapped up season 1, and now a PC port of the first game in the series. It's out.
Yeah, technically it's out, but how has the port been received? Not well. There have been a lot of complaints about bugs, performance issues, and crashes. The game currently has a mostly negative user rating on Steam, with more than 9,000 people weighing in.
Steam user Hyper wrote that the game, quote, looks amazing but is extremely glitchy and has crashed multiple times already. Didn't this game come out like 8 years ago? Like, this is an old game.
Yeah, the remaster came out on PS5, what, 6 months ago or something? Eesh. Gareth J.E. Jones wrote, more load time than game time. An awful port. Cutscene to cutscene, shaders take ages loading between each section early on in the game, but this bodes very badly.
And Julian's Game wrote that after 30 minutes of playing, they experienced 4 game crashes and their PC crashed. That was just in 30 minutes. They wrote, stop releasing unfinished, unoptimized games.
Man, remember when Sony was so bent out of shape about Cyberpunk they delisted it from their store?
Yeah, that's right.
They were doing gamers a credit by not exposing them to that buggy piece of crap, right? Where are they now, I wonder?
This is our buggy piece of crap.
Yeah, we need it out for the show. Anyway, despite all the PC issues, the game still has seen pretty strong player numbers, so that's the power of a brand, I guess. It hit a peak of more than 36,000 users on day 1, according to SteamDB.
All right, now let's talk about some good news. The Resident Evil 4 remake is now out. It's been getting a ton of love from critics who praised the remastered version of a classic.
Yeah, it deserves it. That game's amazing. And gamers like us, we like it too. Capcom tweeted that the game sold more than 3 million units in its first 2 days. By comparison, it took the original Resident Evil 4 nearly a year to hit that same milestone. But that was also like 500 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while back. In all, the franchise has shipped more than 135 million units since the first game debuted in 1996. Wow.
Skeleton hitting the keyboard on that one. But like we said, critics have all given it glowing reviews. The PS5 version is currently sitting at a 93 on Metacritic.
Yeah, the gamer wrote that the remake, quote, has exceeded my high expectations across the board, and it represents Capcom's best ever work on the series. So, yep, doing great, definitely deserves it. All right, let's do an extremely fast review. I can totally relate to this game because I too is a baseball player, and by baseball I mean T-ball, and when I say player, I could definitely hit the tee with my bat. I should be in this game. We'll do create a BG character.
The sound of a tee getting hit with a bat is the most embarrassing sound.
Oh.
And then the thump of the ball just hitting the ground.
I think I was smaller than the tee, so that made it more difficult. I was a tiny little lad.
I love tiny baseball because you have to put helmets on the little kids and that makes their heads even bigger. And then they're running around with their head wobbling around. It's great.
Exactly. I was basically a helmet with little legs.
Okay, here's what's coming out. First, we have Atari Mania. This is a wild journey through video game history. Atari Mania is a microgame collection wrapped in hilarious retro-driven narrative of exploration and surprise. This hits PS4 and PS5 on April 4th.
Creed Rise to Glory Championship Edition. Ooh, I love these movies. Immerse yourself in the pulse-pounding excitement of boxing with the cinematic thrill of a blockbuster movie. Step into the ring as an aspiring boxing champion. Train under Rocky Balboa, fight familiar and unexpected contenders across dynamic arenas, and establish your boxing legacy. It comes to PSVR 2, April 4th.
Grim Grimoire once more brings the classic strategy adventure from Vanillaware into the present. Join aspiring mage Lilith Blonde on her journey within the Silver Star Tower, a renowned academy for magicians. All is not what it seems inside the tower walls. Mysteries, monsters, and menaces lurk about. Harness the power of magic to dispel the secrets hidden within the tower and discover the truth of the Silver Star Tower. Grim Grimoire once more comes out on PS5, PS4, and Switch on April 4th.
Meet Your Maker is a post-apocalyptic first-person building and raiding game where every level is designed by players. Play solo or with a friend as you mastermind devious, maze-like outposts full of traps and guards, then gear up for methodical, fast-paced combat raiding other players' creations. Ooh, it comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC April 4th.
Movie House, the film studio tycoon. Welcome to the big show. Ready the camera, unleash your creativity, and create the flicks you've always dreamed of. Grow your operation with your razor-sharp business sense and usher in a new era for filmmakers worldwide. Movie House launches on PC on April 5th.
Curse of the Sea Rats. Embark on an epic hand-animated Ratoidvania adventure where your crew has been turned into rats by a pirate witch. Explore a rich, non-linear world, enjoy fun action platforming, face challenging bosses, and unlock unique abilities either alone or in local co-op. Comes to Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC April 6th.
Man, cool. That game's got it all. Finally, EA Sports PGA Tour 2023. The tee is yours at 30 courses at launch, including some of the world's most exclusive, designed in stunning quality so you can enjoy more of golf's finer details than ever before. As your golf game improves, so does your path to becoming a major champion. Create and customize a golfer, develop your skill set with new shot types, gain deeper course knowledge as you play, and learn to attack every hole like a pro. That's what I told myself in college. Anyway, EA Sports PGA Tour 2023 comes to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on April 7th.
And that is all the news we've got for you this week, guys. Thank you very much to all our Patreon supporters, and we will see you soon.